Shabbat Shalom again to everyone, and thank you for the privilege of speaking with you this evening. For 24 years, I worked as a conservative rabbi in conservative synagogues. I'm glad that I evolved into Reform Judaism, but there is one dimension of conservative Judaism that I miss: the morning minyan. I didn't go every day, but the morning minyan is a powerful statement about religious community. Usually early in the morning, from Sunday through Friday, people gather for morning worship in their congregation, usually in a smaller room, a chapel. And there are many wonderful parts of this morning minyan. It is spiritually fulfilling. It gets the day started in a very meditative and religious way. It is religiously fulfilling because daily prayer in a minyan and among 10 is a standard of traditional Jewish life. It is emotionally comforting because there are people who come after a death and they want to observe a year of mourning, and one of the traditions, of course, as you know, is saying every day Kaddish. For some people, to say it twice a day or 3 times a day. The minyan envelops the person who is in mourning. It's quite healing and very touching. It is sociologically fulfilling. What I mean by that is the camaraderie is great. People build their social reality around it. Usually there is a light breakfast that is served, and when there is a special event, and I'm not being cute, it's true, people who want to celebrate that special event offer a deluxe breakfast that includes lox and whitefish. I mean, that's it. The personalities are amazing. Each person brings their uniqueness to the minyan. The interactions are amazing. There is laughter, there's shouting, there's anger, there's support. Sometimes people get angry, don't come back for a week. It's very real. The entire spectrum of human existence is represented in this small group. When I was in Florida, we had a minyan that was held in my congregation, and there was a nice group of men, most of them in their 80s, who made up this minyan. And since my wife Jane was working as the chazan in the congregation and the Torah reader, she would come in and they were very nice to her. They weren't quite sure whether a woman should be doing this, but they ended up being very lovely people to her. There was a relatively young man in his 50s who would come. He was brusque on the surface, but underneath it, he was a very kind man who would give silver coins to my children. And I mention him because of his style of worship at the morning minyan. He was loud when he prayed. It was a traditional service, so there were a lot of prayers. And as he recited the prayers, he made this grumbling sound. It appeared to be a loud mumbling. I could never reproduce it, but I can hear it. And here are 2 things that I know about what he was doing. Number 1, he was incredibly engaged in worship. He was praying with tremendous sincerity. But I also know that he had no idea what he was saying. There was English, but the English didn't interest him. He just wanted to go through these prayers rapidly. That was good enough for him. He was a good Jew and a good person. Now, why that long introduction? One of the challenges of the high holiday worship in the traditional setting is mumbling. You have no idea how long a traditional high holiday service is in a conservative synagogue, an Orthodox synagogue. I mean, Rosh Hashanah is 4 hours, 5 hours. Yom Kippur is continuous, it's all day long. Or in the context of Reform Judaism, there is a lot of skipping and moving quickly. This causes us to miss some important prayers. There is an addition to the Amidah that is beautiful. And, Becky and Nathan, when we've planned the service, one of the things that I've said is we got to find a way to weave this prayer package into the service. But since it doesn't have a melody to it, and since the English in our Machzor, our High Holiday Prayer Book, doesn't quite get it, we've never done it. And I think one of the challenges I'm making to Becky and Nathan, who are right next to me, is maybe, and this would be very hard, but you're overqualified for the job, to write a musical setting for this.
Oh, that would be wonderful.
Now, it would be, and I'm about to explain it, but it's worth it. Now, let me explain to you what I'm referring to. And as you know, I've been explaining the Machzor, different pieces of it, to the congregation for the last 3 Friday nights. This is the last time I'm doing it because the high holidays are coming to a conclusion. But I want to explain this prayer. On Rosh Hashanah, one of the themes of Rosh Hashanah is Hayom Harat Olam. Today is the birthday of the world. It can be translated differently. Today the world was born. On this day the world came into being. It can have different translations, but you get the gist of it. According to tradition, Rosh Hashanah is the beginning of the world. And the question is, and I think this is behind what the rabbis wrote, what is our wish for the world on its birthday? Now, the general theme of this section of the prayer book is, the world is filled with holiness. What would the world look like? What is the Jewish wish for this world, in this holy world that we want to create? So there are 3 wishes that the prayer book offers us that I want to share with you. Number 1 is, the first wish is, and I'll read it to you in English. It's not a perfect translation. It says, "And so, in your holiness, give all the creation the gift of awe. Turn our fear to reverence. Let us be witness of wonder, perceiving all nature as a prayer coming alive. We bow to the sovereign of your strength, the primacy of your power. We yearn for connection with all that lives. Doing your will with wholeness of heart, awe-inspiring is your creation, all-encompassing your transcendent name." Now, what is the purpose of that first section? The wish is that the world can evolve into a place where all of creation will be united in reverence for God. That comes through awareness. That comes through appreciation. An ideal world would be a place where all human beings would cherish the world, would see the gift of the world, a world that no longer was splintered. People being able to appreciate not simply their own part of the world, but seeing that we all fit together as one. A prayer for harmony among the various different parts of the world, especially all that is living. The interconnection of all things and appreciation of that. Wish number 1. Wish number 2, which is totally different. It's the middle of the 3 blessings. It says, "And so in your holiness give your people the gift of honor. Bless with praise those who praise you. Bless with hope those who seek you. Give your believers a basis for faith. True happiness in a land of Israel. True joy in Jerusalem. May the sparks of David, your servant, soon grow bright enough for us to see a beam of light in the darkness, a promise of perfection." Let me summarize it this way. World, give the Jewish people a break. Honor us. Appreciate what we contribute. We have been despised too much. We have been misunderstood. We have been separated. Allow us to be in our land because we await the Messiah who is going to set everything right. It's a prayer. Let the Jewish people be the Jewish people and fulfill their destiny. It's not that we're better than anyone, we're not. But we have a special role. Our wish for the world is, let us have that special role. Let us be who we're supposed to be. And then the third blessing is shorter and equally important and beautiful. And so, in your holiness, give the righteous the gift of a vision bright with joy, a world where evil has no voice. The rule of malevolence fades like wisps of smoke. Good people everywhere will celebrate the stunning sight of arrogance gone from the world. A world where we realize that justice is the way to God, where righteousness prevails. The good guys will win and the bad guys will be defeated. What all decent people seek, justice in this world. So let's summarize these three wishes. We wish for all people will find unity and reverence in this world and appreciate creation. We'll pull ourselves together and see the glory of all creation. To stand still and recognize it's all somehow together, and that reflects the holiness of God. Second, we wish a world where the Jewish people are left alone to do their thing, to honor us for doing our own thing. And finally, we dream of the Messianic world where justice rules, good wins out over evil. These are the three wishes we have for the world. Every Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, we recite them. They are our wishes. We pray that these ideas will find fulfillment. They are difficult goals to set, but the high holidays are intended to set the goalpost very high. Let us be tireless working to make them so that this year, or in the years to come, we can make these blessings come true. Shabbat Shalom.